So, we've all been playing Tekken 8, and overall, it's been amazing. The story mode is great, the gameplay has never been better, and there's just so many amazing quality of life features like the jukebox and the new replay system that just go to show how much love the developers put into this game. They clearly want it to be the best Tekken game ever made, and in a lot of ways, it is. So it's strange to me that with this development vision in mind, why they would neglect one key part of the game. And that is, of course, the netcode. And broader than that, just the overall online experience. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, it's bad, guys. Not as bad as some particularly egregious examples.
I can't move!
And certainly an improvement over Tekken 7, but every time I boot up Tekken 8 to play online, it leaves me wondering, why does it have to be this way? Why do they put so much effort everywhere else but forget about the online experience? Shouldn't online play be a major priority for fighting games that are mostly played online? Suffice it to say, I have a problem with this game's online experience. So, let's talk about it. The first issue is just unstable connections all around the board. I don't know much about netcode, and I'm aware that pretty much all fighting games use the same standard peer-to-peer connection type, but I've had a large amount of issues with this game online. High pings are everywhere, and even when I only accept full bar Ethernet connections, sometimes I'll still be put into a match with 150 ping, and that's just ridiculous. So many of my matches are just laggy messes. And keep in mind, I'm playing on the North American servers, which are generally better for more stable connections, but I've been hearing about issues in other regions like Asia, where they can't even find matches. And when they do, they never get below 250 ping. That's just ridiculous. And I'm aware that netcode is far more complicated when it comes to 3D fighting games rather than 2D. And compared to most other 3D fighters, Tekken's netcode is actually a big improvement. However, it's far from perfect netcode, and I honestly think we deserve better than this. I know it's difficult to develop, but I feel like the developers should have put better netcode as a core priority of the game, rather than settling for just okay netcode. And even if you guys haven't been having any major issues when it comes to Tekken's netcode, the amount of people complaining online should be enough for Bandai Namco to put improving their netcode as a priority on their list of updates. This is a far cry from excellent netcode. And I'm aware that there are setting options to help improve some of this stuff. Like there's an option to prioritize response, but for some reason this isn't enabled by default. You have to actually go into the settings and figure this out yourself. It's just so weird to me that prioritizing response wouldn't be mandatory and would just be an option hidden away in the settings. Again, I don't know much about netcode, but I do know that you shouldn't be getting laggy, unplayable messes when accepting full bar connections. And you'd think laggy matches would just be the worst of what I have to say in a video about Tekken's online. But this is actually just the start. Apparently, if one player plays Tekken on a subpar PC and has frame drops, it still causes lag for other players as well. Why hasn't this been fixed from Tekken 7? Considering how graphically intensive Tekken 8 is, making sure that playing with an unstable frame rate online won't affect the other player should have been a core priority for Bandai Namco. This is one of those weird things that I can't believe they would have left in the game. Like, when they were developing the game, did they try playing the game with a computer that was subpar? Because they must have experienced this issue in playtesting. And yet, the issue's still here in the final game. Why is one person having a bad PC punish the other player who could be playing on PlayStation or Xbox? And even worse than this, I have absolutely no idea why they haven't addressed the plugging issue from Tekken 7. There's essentially no punishment for disconnecting mid-match in Tekken 8, and people are still doing it like crazy. I probably have someone disconnect in the middle of a match every 8 to 10 matches, and I know that might not seem like a lot, but it really is. I've heard after a ton, and I mean a ton of matches that you disconnect from, you will start to be punished in some way, but it's not nearly enough. But a problem even bigger than punishing the player who disconnects is the person on the other side of it. I can't believe the person who disconnects can just deny the other player a win whenever they want. I was in my Mighty Ruler promotional ranks, up 2-0, about to win and get promoted, and my opponent just disconnects and I get nothing for that match. Why doesn't the player who stayed in the match get an automatic win whenever the other player disconnects? This is standard in almost every multiplayer game on the planet, but for some reason fighting games just don't like this. If your opponent disconnects, you should automatically win the match, and your opponent should be banned from online play, for increasing intervals. Maybe start with 10 minutes and then increase to 20, 30, and so on. Sorry to interrupt the video, but if you guys are interested in supporting me, please consider subscribing to the channel. Only about 9% of my viewers are subscribed. This number used to be at 3%, so your guys' support has really gone a long way. Anyway, back to the video. I just don't get why this isn't in the game. It's so obvious. Punishing players who don't disconnect is just so bizarre to me. And in addition to this, people are already boosting on the ranked ladder, with pretty much all of the top ranked players getting there through either playing the same person over and over who just stands still and doesn't do anything, or through playing beginner players. For some reason, Tekken 8 has an option for no ranked restriction on their ranked mode. Why is this a thing? Doesn't that kind of defeat the whole purpose of ranked mode? Isn't the whole purpose of ranked to fight other players on your level? But yet in Tekken 8, you can gain points in the top ranks by playing players who just got the game and don't know how to do anything? How did they think this was a good idea? Why is there an option for no ranked restriction? The battle arena system is still insanely clunky, forcing you to add someone through the slow Tekken 8 friend system if you're playing crossplay, which means you'll have to input an insanely long code, and it's just a huge hassle. Why can't we search up players' names to find them faster? And more importantly, why is there no option to search for arena by name? You shouldn't have to keep scrolling down forever to find an arena. This makes online tournaments so much more complicated for no reason. Rather than having an easy and quick way to find other people's arenas, you have to add them on the Tekken 8 friend list by inputting this really long code. And I know you guys are all going to comment about the Tekken Fight Lounge being a proper replacement for arenas, but in my opinion, it's nowhere close. The Tekken Fight Lounge is cool, and I really do enjoy it, but it's still way more complicated than it needs to be in terms of finding matches with opponents. You still have to find an open lobby, make sure your opponent joins the same lobby as you, find your avatar in the Fight Lounge, and then go find an open setup. This is still way more complicated than it needs to be, and we should simply be able to search up an arena by name, find it, and join. Easy as that. There's so many little issues like this, combined with the big issues of just the netcode overall being very slow, that makes me wonder why they shipped the game in this state. They had all of Tekken 7 to learn from their mistakes, and for some reason it seems they just didn't. A lot of the same mistakes seem to be repeating over and over, and I'm surprised in a game that they clearly put this much effort and love into, that they would leave the online mode behind like this. I want to quickly emphasize this because I know a lot of people are going to be very angry in the comments, but it's not awful netcode. It is an improvement over other 3D fighting games, and overall it is probably making a step in the right direction, but I just wanted more. Tekken 8 is just so amazing. You can make an argument for it being the best fighting game of all time, and almost everything about it is just so perfect, which is why I wish the online mode could have been better. We're in the new generation of fighting games, and this was Namco's chance to really make an amazing online system and set a new standard for the industry. But they just didn't. They settled for a pretty average online, and I just wish they did more with it. I truly believe that the online experience is the only thing truly holding Tekken 8 back from being a perfect fighting game. And it hurts, man. It hurts. Anyway, that's about all I have today. I know this was more of a negative video than usual, but I really do love Tekken 8, and I want the game to be the best it can possibly be, which is why it's so frustrating to see this many issues with the online. But hey, we are still early in the game. Maybe eventually they'll add patches over time to fix some of these issues. Like I said earlier, I find it pretty unlikely as they had all of Tekken 7 to learn from their mistakes. But who knows, maybe they'll put an emphasis on fixing their online in future patches. I can sure hope so. I'm actually really curious. Let me know in the comments what your guys' experience has been with Tekken 8 netcode. I've heard a lot of people saying they're having issues with it, but I've also heard quite a few people saying they haven't had any issues at all. So let me know in the comments how your experiences have been with Tekken 8's online. Anyway, that's going to be about it for this video. Thank you guys so much for your recent support. We just hit 8,000 subscribers. That's insane for me. I never thought I'd make it this far. And yeah, I'm going to keep going up from here. Got lots more content planned. So thank you for the support. Take it easy. Have a good day, everyone. I'll see you later.